Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with. Wow, I almost forgot how to say that. It has been almost 2 months since we've done a show. Um, yeah, last show we did was October 21st with Darren Davison, and now here we are tonight. We're going to be talking with actor and producer Klor Rowland. He'll be here. Very excited to talk to him. He's got our projects coming on, the Vixen trilogy, which absolutely looks like a throwback to the pulp serials that used to run during the 30s and 40s. I hope I am right about that because based on the costuming I saw, it looks just like it. So I'm a huge fan of pulp books and magazines and the serials. Watch many of them. In fact, I have a Batman one, a serial that I have in my collection. They used to come out. You've probably heard if you ever watched Indiana Jones, the series. You always hear about that. It was a throwback to the 30s pulp serials, where every chapter ended on a cliffhanger, and generally they would run about 12 episodes, and they run them on Saturday mornings, and it'd be anywhere between 30, 25, 30 minutes of per chapter. And so, hey, Tony, how are you? How are you? Glad you're here. And Dominic is here. What's going on, Dominic? We are talking to actor, producer Klor Rowland. He'll be here shortly in about 15 minutes or so. And we're going to be talking about his project, among many. He has done a few fun films. Two of them I have watched. I watched the short film Housebroken, which was very charming. And then I saw him in a movie I saw a long time ago, so I went to go back and acquaint myself with it. But I do remember it because I have a copy of it called Locker 13, which I thought was a lot of fun. It was an anthology film, and it had John Grise and also Rick Hoffman in it, as long as Ricky Schroeder. So that was actually a pretty decent anthology, if I remember it right. I do seem to remember I like it quite a bit. Um, Anthony has finally crossed over to 2018. That's awesome. Good to see that. All right, the doorbell has rang. So you know what that means. We go get our guest and get this party started. And because we never want to let anybody wait outside. So thanks for being here. Feel free to share us out, and I'm gonna go get Klor. Here we go. Whoa, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Uh,
you. I just can't see you. But
oh,
as
that's
long
weird.
as long as I can hear you.
Oh, okay. That's odd. Yeah. If I
Uh,
close, because maybe it's because I'm hooked up to this other monitor. Does that help, you think? Uh,
well, are you on your laptop?
yeah.
It should when you go in there, it should say on the bottom there,
Hmm.
it should have a camera and a microphone.
Okay, camera. Yeah.
Okay, is it okay? Yeah, it's a camera. Huh. Well, that's interesting.
What's this deal up here? Uh,
Huh. That-
so bizarre.
oh, yeah, that is okay. Because I'm definitely seeing it's definitely seeing your avatar, the little blurb there, and it allows you to go through, so it should show the camera.
This is weird.
Like I said, as long as we have vocals, we can live with that. Have you ever done a podcast like this before? Oh, I hope you didn't hit the microphone. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay.
Out and came back in.
Okay, let me see if yeah, there we go. All right. Okay, we have ignition. All right. Yeah, I was just commenting that I watched a couple of your work. I watched Housebroken, which
Okay.
was
Yeah.
which was very fun.
Yeah.
And you did a movie anthology film called Locker 13.
Yeah.
I actually own a copy of that.
Oh wow, cool. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I watched it, and because I love anthology films, and I remember that being a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Had some pop to it as far as a cast goes.
Yeah,
Uh,
it did surprisingly well. For I think it was Brothers Inc. were the
right.
producers on that.
Um, yeah, I think it did really well. I think they took it straight to. I mean, they threw it out in the theater for just to. I don't know
Festivals in
why
a
they
minute.
just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Because I mean, though it's really just I have a problem with Wikipedia about this, and that is a lot of times because a lot of people just go on numbers,
Right.
so they don't understand the mechanics of it. And so if you go to the Wikipedia entry of Locker 13, if you scroll up there, it'll say box office $2,300. Okay, that may be true, but they only put it in 4 or 5 theaters.
Right.
Just to qualify it for like for anything, any awards or what have you. You qualify it by playing in a theater. That's what it's for. But most of that probably went straight to video. I mean,
Yeah.
and back then we actually had video stores.
That's true.
Uh,
I remember them. Yeah.
yeah.
Blockbusters,
So I
there was
mean,
mom and pops. Yeah.
so while the movie might have done $2,300 at the box office, the old theater way, in theory, that movie could have sold 10 to 15,000 units at $10 a piece or $15 a piece, and then do the math from there. And
Hmm.
you realize that and that's not even counting international sales.
Right.
You know, so
And it
but
was
I
a
just find
clean film. It was a clean film. There wasn't
it
any
was.
cussing or nudity or.
I think John Grice is a fine actor. His dad was Tom Grice, and he created a show called The Rat Patrol back in the '60s. Do you
Was it
remember
the
that?
guys in the desert, right?
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
Christopher
yeah.
George.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you should
Sometimes.
remember. You might remember that Eric Braeden was on there. But
Yeah.
they were using his. I think back then they were using his real name, last name,
Yeah.
because and then I think a Gooder Heist or something like that. And then he went to soap opera and changed his name. But his dad, John's dad, created that show,
Yeah.
and I remember the first time I saw Tom was actually in another series called The Pretender that came out in the '90s.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it on YouTube maybe. But it was like
Uh,
a chameleon, right? He could blend into
yes.
anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Great show. Great show. Loved it. So I saw that you were in that and Locker 13. I'm like, and like I said, and Rick Hoffman was in there. Love Rick Hoffman. Rick
Yeah.
Hoffman's he's a hoot. Um,
Jose Rosette was a co-producer on
yes.
some of that too. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Lot of, like I said, that movie had a lot of punch to it.
Kathy
And
Rankin. There's a lot of good actors and actresses. Yeah.
uh, I'm really excited to talk to you tonight to about the Vixen. But before we get into that, I want to talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about that because it's funny that I'm getting this month. because I have another guest coming on. He was supposed to actually be on before you, but he's going to be coming on afterwards.
Okay.
His name is Win Scott Eckert, and
All
he
right.
is a writer. He was close to a science fiction writer named Philip Jose Farmer.
Wow.
Do you remember? You know who that is?
I've heard the name.
So he was a big science fiction writer and wrote a ton of books. But one book he wrote was really, really cool and a huge hit. And he wrote a autobiography about Doc Savage and the Fabulous Five.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I like that movie.
So
I've seen that. I've got a copy of it. Yeah.
yeah. They
Yeah.
didn't do, they didn't do too bad with that movie. I watched it and reviewed it as well, and I thought Ron Eli did a nice job. I
I
thought they
thought
did a
it
nice job.
paralleled the comics, the comics really well. I mean, it not like today and age. You like Guardians of the Galaxy is nothing like the comic book. You
No,
know.
God, no. I can't stand. I can't actually. I can't stand those movies. I can't stand
Yeah.
that trilogy.
The only reason I
I'm a
like
huge.
it is I'm a big fan of anything creative. You know what I mean? If it's something cool and not done by everyone, then I like it. You know.
I just love the first. I love the original team so much more.
Mm-hmm.
The original team is just it's such a badass team, and then James Gunn. Oh, the second movie. My friend my friend had to put his hand on my shoulder because I was going to stand and say that's some bullshit. Because I was watching. They have Sylvester Stallone back there wearing this god awful looking jacket, and he's supposed to be Starhawk, and I'm going, oh no,
No way. That is not
I just can't.
Starhawk.
I know I can't do that.
And then they invent characters as main characters that were never in that universe. You know, so it's
No,
weird.
they put Yondu in his universe, even though like what you got Yondu, he's totally out of place. What you
Right.
can't bring the rest of the team up? What the hell? I mean, they made them into the Reavers or whatever the hell they were.
The Reavers,
and
yeah.
they're Sylvester Stallone saying, "Let's go steal some shit." Oh, you ever seen a grown man cry? You would have then.
Yeah, I'm never getting that time back. Yeah.
No. and here comes and nobody really seems to understand it, and it's just like, when they turned around and said we're going to give James Gunn the keys to DC, I'm going like, yeah, okay, we'll see how well that goes. And
light a match as you head out. Yeah.
like the first Superman came out, his first Superman movie came out. I thought he was okay as Superman. But Christ Almighty, that guy Gardner. Oh, Jesus.
I haven't even seen it. I don't. I'm Superman to death. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, he got the attitude down. I mean, he got Nathan Fillion. He played a Green Lantern. He's got the attitude down. But wait till you see the costume he's wearing. It's so biased. It's awful. It's awful. It's just absolutely awful. But I'll give him credit for bringing Mr. Terrific into the mix. He brought in a lot of he brought in a lot of people in to fill the roles. I was all right with that. The Lex Luthor was not one of my favorites. Did not like the Lex Luthor at all, but the sure as hell beat Jesse Eisenberg. God, talk about a miscast. I mean, that was just Now, did you read pulp books when you were younger? Did you like The Shadow and the Spider?
I read like the sci-fi ones, like Space Cadet. They were like weird ones like that, and the creativity and the imagination of the monsters, and it was just bizarre, because you're reading a black and white words and you're getting pictures in your head. That's pretty good, or maybe it's a concern. I don't know.
lot of people don't realize that when we're talking about the pulps, especially with with Doc Savage.
Yeah.
Doc Savage was the inspiration for Batman.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that. They don't know really who Doc Savage is at all,
Mm-hmm.
or they don't know much about pulp at all either.
My brother
And
Mark was a penciler, and he worked for Dark Horse, and so that's
nice.
what got me into comics. And I'm a bit of an artist too. I draw and paint and anything creative. Into it, so I kind of like it. I mean, you talk about bad costuming. I made all my own costumes, so I can't really cast aspersions on, wardrobe. But
Yeah, but here's the difference. Here's the
yeah,
difference. The difference is you made your costumes with what you could afford.
yeah, yeah.
They don't have that excuse. There's no excuse at all for them not making accurate costumes. Look at the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
Looked brilliant. I
the
had
new one.
no
Yeah,
problem with it. I thought that, I mean, even
yeah,
though the turtleneck, right, the turtleneck sweaters,
yeah.
but I thought the colors were spot on. The costume was spot on. I was,
Wasn't
um,
a Dodge
you
hovercraft. Yeah.
it was brilliant.
Hmm.
Um, you have some of the Marvel heroes that are, like Thor and Iron Man. I mean, Spider-Man. I mean, they got them right.
Yeah,
Doctor Doom in the first Fantastic Four movie, the one by Tim Story.
yeah.
Loved the way Doom looked. Rest in peace, Julian McMahon. He's
He was
missed.
scary, right?
Oh, he was a great Doom.
Yeah.
He was a great Doom.
Hmm.
Holy cow! I really miss him because he really played the part really well. He
I
embraced the
hated him and
character.
everything else after that because of how well he portrayed that character. I was like, oh, he's evil, and he's probably was a really nice guy.
You know what? Most of the movies that he did, he was sort of like the nice guy. He did Charmed, I think, for like 5 or 4 out of the 7 years that they were on. He played a
Yeah.
main character, and he was a good guy in that. Um, I'm trying to think of other things that I've seen him in after that where he played the bad guy, and I can't really remember anything. I should, but
He's got a
he
stunning
played
appearance,
FBI.
so
Yeah, he played on that show at the FBI. And well, I think when he got his diagnosis, that's when he left the show.
Mm.
When he got his because he was doing the show, and next thing you know, they're sitting there going like he's leaving the show, and then he left, and he didn't do anything else after that. And I think he was just he was fighting for his life,
Yeah.
and but he left a body of work behind, and so but the pulp magazines, I grew up on that. I used to go around and collect all the Bantam books. They
Hmm.
said all the paperbacks. So I got the Doc Savage, and I got
Tarzan.
Perry Roden, Tarzan,
Yeah.
um, The Shadow.
Gold Keys.
Um,
Those were my books, the Gold Key comics.
oh,
They had all the Tarzan, Planet of the Apes, and Torok, the dinosaur hunter. They had all kind of weird little characters. So I was into
now
that.
we used to collect the one books we used to collect a lot were the Shadow,
Mm.
because Jim Steranko was doing the cover art for that.
Hmm.
Jim Steranko was just Jim Steranko was a badass. He was a badass. He didn't put up with any bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, he was a straight shooter. Um, but that's how I grew up. I grew up reading those, listening to the CBS Mystery Theater,
Yeah.
and then started reading. Then I started reading the books. Then I got into comic books. I was into the paperback books before I got into comics.
We
And
were when I grew up, we were in kind of a poor family, so we didn't really have television that much. So we'd
right.
hear that flour biscuit flour hour or something like that,
Oh
and
yeah, King Biscuit Flower Hour.
yeah, we'd get into that and try to
That's
escape, poverty any way you can. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was like that too. That's why, I'd be sitting there, and I grew up in a poor area too, and I'd be underneath my in my bed, and my because I share it with my brothers, and I have a small little transistor, and I have that as low as I could get it, and then I'd be listening to
yeah,
E.G. Marshall,
yeah.
so yeah, And then I had comics. I had a few comic books. I got into that. But the pride and joy definitely was the pulp. Sometimes you go to the store and see all the pulp, like Forey Ackerman. You saw, his Fabulous Monsters.
Hmm.
Just had a lot of cool magazines like Heavy Metal,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
came out. Yeah. Um,
and there was just some brilliant artists in heavy metal. It was, and I don't even know if it's still being published anymore,
it
but
is. It's still
is
it's
it
still going.
online?
I
Because
I don't. I think it's still physical. There's not
okay,
much left.
yeah.
There's not much stuff. There are a few magazines out there. I think Fangoria is down to like 4 physical zines a year. Oh my God, they're expensive though. I think they're damn near $20.
$47.50. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like damn,
Yeah.
it's like crazy. Um, let's see. Hi, twin. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah. So when I saw the poster for for the Vixen, um, super excited about that. The Space Vixen, and
Yeah.
I got to tell you this part too because this is cracks me up. Um, so there's somebody well known. Um, I only know her from my side. I know she has I know she has one career and then she has another career, and I'm on the
Yeah.
other career. Um, but she goes by this. She calls herself the Space Vixen too.
Right.
In fact,
Okay.
yeah. In fact, when we do after we get done doing this interview, I'm planning on sending her the interview because I want her to see it because I'm sure she'll get a kick out of it that someone made a movie with the Space Vixen. Um, so I'm excited about this. Let's get into it a little bit. So
Okay.
I want to talk about how so what's the genesis of Space Vixen? Who came up with the idea? I'm thinking it was you.
Well, I came up. All right. Kimber Leigh is a dear friend of mine and also a great artist, another producer and director. And I'm sure, I believe you know her as well.
Hmm.
She wanted to do a film challenge. And I said, well, okay. I don't want to really work with anybody else, though. And she's like, well, I don't have a camera. And I said, well, my phone shoots 4K. So, and I'm like, okay, well, who's going to edit this? And I was like, well, I'll go buy a laptop. So I went and bought a laptop. I'd never worked on on the Apple before, but so it's kind of like building the airplane as you're flying it and then trying to
Right.
land it at the same time. So, it was fun. And we made a movie about therapists, right? And therapists that see therapists
Mm.
because they need therapy, right? But
Yeah.
Kimber didn't like the name of that, so she went and found a different name for therapy, and it's comforting. So we decided to call the movie The Comforting, and then we showed it and made the top 20 in the film festival, and then we're like, we were still kind of disappointed in it. We were like, that could be so much more because all it was a couple of good scenes, So then we're like, well, in order to make this make sense, we've got to go way outside the box. And I'm like, yep, we do. And then so we just started throwing ideas around. She's in Hawaii and I'm here in Arizona, so we're just throwing ideas around. We start writing the ideas down, and then we form Fixin because it's a combination of trying to fix and then the word Zen, so like there's always people trying to fix you, right? So that's
Right.
the name of the planet, Fixin. And so we thought, well, who would rule Fixin? And it would be a vixen, right? And people have the wrong idea of what a vixen is. They think it's something that's seductive, but it's not. It's a woman that is not to be trifled with, more easily put. And
Right.
so the story goes they blew up their planet except for 3 people, and they established clones to repopulate the planet. The planet is based on comforting, and because it means so much to so many different people. Think of what you're comfortable with is probably not what I'm comfortable with. but we still use the same words, and it means something completely different to both of us. But it keeps arguments from happening. And then me and Kimber were talking about that, and she goes, "Well, I'm comfortable with that concept." So we made that the whole planet was a planet of comfort, and we had to make it really ridiculous. So they're the ones that spread the concept of comfort throughout the universe. So if we have comfort on Earth, it's because of them.
Our good
That's a
friend
long
Hobbs
answer.
is here.
Yeah.
Hey Hobbs, Vixen locked arms up on that hill. Very funny, Hobbs. I'll tell you about it. I know. See, sounds pretty badass to me. I would dig that motion picture. Are there any Easter eggs or references that we should watch for? You know, that's a great question, considering we just got done talking about pulp.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm thinking that you're going to put some Easter eggs in that bad boy.
yeah, there's tons of them, like Red Unit is actually the Poe from the Teletubbies. That's where I got the idea for him as being one of the authentic, survivors of the planet Vixen, and so that's my comfort object. See, Red Unit goes to Earth because we discover through remote. It's hard to explain. You got to see the movie. It's comforting. What is comfortable for me is not comfortable for you. We established that. But what we didn't know is that when people die on Earth, they're reborn as a clone spirit on Vixen. And when people die on Vixen, the clone dies, it's reborn on Earth. And then later through the other films, we established that actually clones can't reproduce, but the clones and the Earthlings can reproduce, and that's the only way they can reestablish, polarity to the civilization on Vixen. But then they have this drawback of, oh, they're going to reestablish all this chaos, and then so it's everything's a cliffhanger.
Exactly. Like the
Yeah.
so how wow, had you ever tried it? I mean, did you base it on any one particular group or series of books or characters?
No, I just tried to write myself out of it. I'm like, well, if you don't have the budget, you got to write yourself around the budget, so to speak, and make
Right.
it all make sense. So I was like, this is I will have to do it on a green screen. So did it on a green screen, shoot stuff, make paper plate UFOs,
Sure.
all the tricks and make it look fun. Because it's a comedy. People are like, that's a really stupid movie after they see it. I'm like, yeah, it is, but it's fun.
Yeah, but now did you break it up into chapters, like chapter
Yeah,
1, chapter 2? See?
yeah,
See? How can
yeah.
anybody okay, so how in the hell can anybody think it's a stupid movie if they don't if they just haven't seen
All of it. Yeah,
any of those serials? I mean, those are
yeah.
not those don't get shown very often. Um,
No,
the Flash Gordons or the
mm,
Buck Rogers. Like you said, Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Those are all done with chapters.
yeah,
And yeah, you go back there and you look at those serials, and Jesus, I mean, they look like they were made for like a couple $100, but it
right.
works. It absolutely works.
Yeah.
Uh, I love it. I love the creativity. Now, my question to this is, how did Kimber get in? Did Kimber know anything at all about pulp books, or did
I
you have
don't,
to show her about? Did you show her what they were?
she's got a lot of trust, and I've got a lot of trust in her too. And I'm like, the only way we can make this work is to make it just super ridiculous. And so I threw the concept at her, and she's like, I can get behind that. It's like we didn't know what we were doing, so we just did everything we knew how to, and it turned out okay. We won some pretty good
See,
awards. So
Twin says, nice. Hop says, Planet Vixen sounds like a place I would enjoy. Yes, because
you'd be comfortable. Yeah.
there'd be so many pitfalls. There would be
Yeah.
so many. Wow. I mean, and it says Tomb of the Cybermen, Doctor Who. Yes, Doctor Who would be a modern pulp book.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, gosh, if I really think about it, I think Doctor Who probably was the one show that reestablished what pulp serials
Hmm.
were, because they would always ah,
The bubble
yeah, I
pack
dare say,
dialects. Dialects.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Which is
think Doctor
awesome.
Who, 'cause that's a good call, Hobbs. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, the serials as we know them, and they had Shazam, they had Batman, they had Superman, they had the other ones, they had the superhero ones, um,
Shadow. Yeah.
the Shadow,
Yeah.
and I think those books pretty much all faded out in the 40s.
Right.
As far as that goes, I mean, once the 50s hit, I think they had already been they had moved on. People had moved on from a lot of those magazines that have flourished. They slowly just faded off into the sunset.
Well,
Um,
I just wanted to share something with you now is that we've already shot the second and the third installment, and I'm in the second and third installment, we're going to discover the superpowers of comforting, where you can shift both time and space and then and invoke a wormhole through belief in your comfort level. So that is just totally ridiculous. And doing that on a green screen is pretty cool, making people get sucked through a wormhole at
right.
random, so that's pretty funny.
Green screen films like that. There's a film that Hobbs will probably crack up because he's probably already thinking the movie I'm talking about. But green screen films are a lot of fun too. I mean, they really
Mhm.
are. I saw a movie the first time I saw a purely 100% green screen film. It was an action film called Bitch Slap, and it was very entertaining. It was
I
very
like the title.
entertaining.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
funny.
it was a hoot. It had a lot of
Yeah.
well known faces in it. It was just something you never it's like wow. And then there's one called The Incredible Bulk, and it's also shot on green screen. And that
Okay.
one had his tongue firmly in cheek. If you watch it, it's like you look at it and you either like it or you don't. There's no middle ground. You
Yeah.
either hate it or you love it. Um, I,
I'm gonna write that
I
down.
yes,
Incredible bulk.
it's
That's
a
funny.
very interesting film. Yeah.
Inspiration.
Bulk. Um, let's see. What about Santa Claus Conquers the Martians?
Oh, yeah, I've
Um,
seen that.
yeah. I think though that was just pretty much just a standalone movie though.
Was
See
that a
the what?
German production? Was that a German production, Denmark, something like that? Because the lips
Yeah,
weren't
and they had
matching the words.
let's see. I think Pia Zadora was in it as a kid.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She was
It's
a
Italian
little
then, yeah.
kid, and she was in that. It was but I think that was just a standalone, you know. But the serial. How many chapters per movie are you trying to do? Are you trying to do like 8 or 9 or 10? And how many minutes are each chapter?
Yeah, each you could probably get 3 chapters per segment, right? And
Mhm.
and that's a 15-minute each. They're like 14 minutes and 58 seconds because some festivals won't allow you to submit anything over 15 minutes. So we're like, okay, 14:58 it is. So
Well, at
so
least you know one thing. There's going to be a director's cut.
yeah, the director's cut is going to be my final vision of what the movie was. So I didn't have a budget to make a movie, so I made installments of the movie, just like we made this scene in the movie as a film challenge. Just reproduce and see what you can do. If you got a passion for it, don't let money stop you.
I never. I mean, it's really ambitious, Klor. I mean, if you really
Yeah,
think about it, it's I've never heard. I've seen people do the film challenges many times on here. I've talked to many filmmakers who've done the 48-hour film challenge. I've never seen
Mhm.
anybody try to do a pulp movie
Yeah.
with multiple chapters. Never seen that happen.
Yeah.
Now, how do you buy green screen? How do you shoot against a green screen?
Well, I've got a 2-car garage and Amazon, and then I, buy the cheapest stuff I could. I think I've probably got about $400 in green screens in my garage. My wife is kind enough to tolerate it, so it's fun. And she's like, "What are you guys doing out there? You're just standing in front of that thing." I'm like,
Oh, right,
yeah,
right, right. Oh, that's gotta
yeah.
be hard to act against, though, isn't it?
Well, luckily, both Kimber and I are pretty descriptive. We can be like, okay, so you're in this hostile environment. All right. So to your left and right are the people that are after you. These are your lights, so the lights are the people, you just make believe, make stuff up. Then it
Right.
kind of transitions into the film better. It's not like real life, it's just ridiculous, which is what I'm going for, you know. I think we
So,
can use more ridiculousness nowadays.
so 3 segments at 15 minutes apiece. So basically,
Yeah.
each film's gonna play out more like a TV episode of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and you plan on doing? I know you mentioned the original trilogy, but I have a feeling you're gonna go beyond that, aren't you?
Oh, we could. I mean, it depends on how far we develop the characters and their
Right.
super comforting powers and ability to transverse time and space. So, I mean, everyone else has got a wormhole in their movie. I'm going to put one in mine.
Hell, one director took the Amityville house into space. So
Right. So what are you going to do? It's derivative.
anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see. Yeah, what are some of the what were some of the influences? Todd wants to know if you're a fan of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, I've seen the Rocky Horror many times. Me and girlfriends at the time when I was a kid, high school mostly. It was kind of a ritual. Lived in Wichita, Kansas at the time. Not a lot of activity for kids to do, but the midnight movies, So go for
Right.
the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but at the same theaters, there were other movies, like retro sci-fi films that you'd get to see in their retro vision or whatever their vision was, Calavision. You're like, oh wow, it's Calavision. What is that?
Man,
Nothing.
I miss the midnight show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I
miss
got a
it.
lot of inspiration from that. Got to see
Yeah, of
stuff,
course.
that was just bigger than life and shot in black and white. So
Yes.
I was like, that's pretty
Now,
cool.
what pulp series did you watch? You mentioned Tom Corbett.
Hmm.
Did you watch anything else? Did you mention um wasn't one called Rocky King or something like that? Or
Rocket
they had a
Man.
couple of
Yeah, the
Rocket Man.
Rocketeer was a Disney take on it, but
That was a
Rocket
Rocket
Man,
King. That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
was the
And we had
Rocketeer.
I know we had Captain Marvel. I know we had I don't ever think Doc Savage got made into a pulp, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you
I
know what
know Batman
I
did.
thought would be interesting is okay, this is gonna be really weird, is to take the Johnny Quest and make it a real life movie. I think that
Yes.
would be really cool to do.
You know what? It's a win. You know what? Yes. And
Yeah.
it sort of makes you wonder why they haven't done it already.
It's
Because Johnny Quest is,
Hanna-Barbera.
yeah, that's a now it's funny because the Johnny Quest I used to see when I grew up. I saw Johnny Quest and I thought, okay, it's a kid cartoon or whatnot.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started I made a contact at Warner Brothers and they said, hey, we're releasing the Johnny Quest series, um, uncut.
Yeah,
Uncut.
the original. Yeah.
I'm going like uncut. What do you mean uncut? And they sent it to me, and all of a sudden, man, it was like, holy shit, man, this is violent as hell. It was not made for kids. It was not made for kids at all. It was made for adults.
It was like a Star
Uh,
Trek almost, you know?
Very much so.
Yeah.
And it was very exciting, and it had 26 episodes. John Hong was one of the voices in there, and that guy's still alive today. He did one of the voices for one of the villains.
The Asian villain or villain, I think they were in Singapore or something like that,
Yeah,
or some
that was
island.
that's a great show right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have plenty of inspiration. Now, how did it come through as far as writing the script? Now that had to be sort of difficult because you have to keep in the spirit of. Did you keep it in the spirit of the language of the 30s and the 40s, or did you bring it up to modern times?
We brought it up to comfortable times. We we put the lens of comfort around everything, like no arguments. It sounds racy by the title, but there's no sex, drugs, rock and roll. It's ridiculous. The movie is just ridiculous. And here's the script that we wrote. It's not very big.
Is that for all three parts, or is that just for the first part?
That was for the first one, and then the second one's on some scratch paper around here. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, fix it in post. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll fix it. We'll fix it on fixing.
yeah, that's all we do is fixing stuff.
Now you did you do the whole entire script yourself, or was it a collaboration with you and Kimber?
It was collaboration with me and Kimber on setting things up, and trying not to go too far out of bounds, which is just easy to do when you get silly, and for instance, one of the villains was supposed to have an eye patch, but we decided no, eye patch would be hard to navigate in the garage with an eye patch on. And then the other guy says, hey, well, we could just put makeup around. I'm like, no, there's just no eye patch. Okay. We keep it balanced that way. I don't know. It's a bad example.
Well, I mean, again, how would it look how would it look on a green screen? Would it come through on a green screen, or would it be hard for it to come through? Okay.
Yeah,
it's a great idea, but if the text's not there, the text's not there,
Yeah. It's funny with the technology that we have now, it's going to put animators out of business. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the AI is just it's scary what people are doing with it. I mean, they're already misusing it already. I've been seeing people people are going into restaurants, and they're taking pictures of their food or getting takeout, and then they're taking pictures of the food and AI in it so that the food looks like crap, and then they complain to the restaurant and get free food. And it's like, yeah,
That's ridiculous.
People suck sometimes.
They really do. I mean, that's just bad. It's like,
I really do. It's just like I saw that. I'm just shaking my head. I'm just going like, why would anybody? That's not right. That's not nice.
No. It isn't. It's basically just not nice. That's that thing. Bad
but it
karma.
would be. It would be. I mean, for but for a movie like yours, now normally you would never. Like I would never advocate an AI for any film, a major film. But I think for something like this, which is sort of experimental, and in a way it'd be really interesting because you're bringing a story from the 30s and the 40s up to today's world.
Modern
and I think
technology.
if you used a little AI in it, to bring it up a little bit, I don't see anybody, would have a problem with that.
Well, when I use AI in the film, and I have, it's for transition shots, like I can't afford to do a wormhole shot otherwise, it's like then I make it black and white, but I use my own characters, my own actors, their voices,
Right.
you know. I don't see anything wrong. Is it cheating? Maybe, but it's what I can afford.
As long as it's not, as long as it's not overpowering,
Yeah.
it's for something like this. I know the festivals are going to be asking you, did you use any AI in your film? It's like, I don't know. I mean, did I? I mean, because I'm
You
using
tell
green
me.
screen. I'm using green screen. How is that any different from using
It's
AI
not.
for this? For this, yeah, for
How
this
is
level of filmmaking.
how is computer animation any different? It's just a
Yeah,
different form of computer animation. That's all it is, really. It's
I
not
just
that
think
smart.
CGI is just basically it's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Once you go past that, then it's into the AI. It's like there's not much difference if you're doing CGI. I mean, as much as we don't want you to, but
Yeah.
we understand that you have to do it because practical, like it would be hideously expensive. I mean, it would be impossible for you to do your movie, even
Any
even
other
at the
way.
level
Yeah.
you have it, without getting some help.
Yeah. It's
It's
true.
because your film is ambitious. It's like
Yeah.
look at the movie that I'm making. Look at the story that I'm trying to tell.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing this. So I have to have a little bit of help. I don't really have much reference other than the originals from the back in the day. So
Hmm.
I get it. Um,
Yeah.
Now, talk to me a little bit about some of the costuming because I'm looking at when I was looking at the posters look fire for one
Yeah.
thing.
I
Um,
drew the
I,
poster. That saved a lot of time and energy. I just drew
and
it.
I'll say this between you and me.
Yeah.
I think Kimber she's still gonna rock. She's gonna rock out that uniform. She can rock out the uniform.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah, she's very attractive, and I
yeah.
saw that and we're like, man, it's great because like that's exactly she's got the figure for it.
Yeah.
If you go back to there, you go back to those I mean, the women were women back there, and I
And
love the idea that I'm glad that it's just like it's a hero, it's a heroine, it's a space heroine. I love it.
she's a vixen,
She
what are you gonna
is
do? And the
now.
funny thing is I let her choose her own costuming. So, in all the films, I'm like, she's one of my best friends. I'm not gonna make her uncomfortable,
Right.
because that would be
Well,
rude.
she understands. I guess this is a cliche, but she understands the assignment. She
Yeah.
did you guys sit down and watch any of these old serial films like
Mm-mm.
Flash Gordon?
I did most of the research and just bought a bunch of foam off of Amazon, and then looked at some of my brother's artwork as far as costuming goes, because he did a lot of penciling with sci-fi stuff. So I've got some of his old stuff, and he's passed. So in a way, it's an homage, to him and the costuming and the design. So I had more time and creativity than I had money. So we did that.
Now, have you gone to conventions and saw and seen any cosplayers? You see, cosplayers they make their own costumes from the boots up.
Yeah.
It's an amazing talent,
Yeah,
and
I don't
and
have
I
that
love it.
talent.
You have that talent.
No, I do not. I've
Oh,
got a glue gun, an X-Acto knife, and a sketch pad, sketch it out, make my patterns, tape it all together, look at it, change it, and then cut it out of the material and put it together.
was it hard to make the costumes for the film?
It's hard for some people to draw a straight line, so that's
Yeah,
not
that'd be
really a
me.
that's not a fair question. The thing is, I was coming off of surgery at the time, and I was very ambitious and had downtime. So my hands were working pretty good, so got things done. It's all concept until you make it reality. The stuff.
Exactly. Well,
That's
did
one
you
thing.
did you do did you do it like this though, Klor? Did you shoot the first film? You put the costumes on. You put up the green screen. You
Yeah.
shoot the first film. You look at it, and then you make notes on saying, "What could I do to make it look better for the second part?"
No, we
You know,
didn't
like,
do that really. The way we shot the first one was we shot the middle of the movie first and then turned that into festivals. And then we went, oh, well, this has more legs than that. Let's make it, something more than what it is. We made it more ridiculous. Then we shot around it. Then we shot the beginning, and then we shot the end. And then we were watching it all together, trying to make it. We only filmed what made it would make sense, right? I mean, as hard as that is to figure because the concept's pretty bizarre. But that's what we did. We did it completely ass backwards. We did it wrong. We did it on a laptop that I had less than 6 months experience on. I didn't even know what the capabilities were. So everything I did was kind of by the seat of my pants. But that's the same way I learned how to play guitar and built instruments. And, I I got something in my mind. I want to do it instead of talk about doing it.
now, in your area around Arizona, do you have like a film community there? Did you get a crew together to help you to get this off the ground?
It was me and Kimber. We were the crew. We did all the lighting, we did all the directing, the sound and the editing and music, and I did the editing on it. So she would manage the continuity,
I'm
so
just impressed that you were able to talk her into doing this kind of movie because this kind of movie does not get made.
she insisted that it get made. And if you know Kimber, she's hard to argue with because she's saying what you want to hear.
Well, I think like I said, I've mentioned it before, but I think it's it's just like you don't think that person. The first thing I think of Kimberly is I wouldn't think pulp. I would
Yeah,
think
yeah,
drama. I would think drama. I think a romantic comedy, a Hallmark movie, something
yeah,
like that. She
yeah.
looks like she'd be, like you would see her,
A snow
meeting
angel,
right. Yeah, Snow Bride.
Right, right, right.
Right.
So
Uh
we
uh
we
so,
we make her into a talk show host in the second one because one of her clones is one of the most popular, or at least as popular as 1/3 of the population follows her. It's the talk show host, and that's Kimber Leigh interviewing herself, and then as two different characters. So then I green screen composited the shot and then dropped, another green screen image over the green screen. So I've got her talking to herself on the same
oh, okay.
screen. So it's, it's so stupid.
Yeah, but it's not it's a homage.
Yeah.
It's not it's a homage. It's not like a comedy. It's because like I said, you go back to some of those serials, and I mean
They make me
I mean
laugh. I don't
one thing I'll say about those serials though,
Yeah.
even though they're from the 30s and 40s, I still watch them rather than Guardians of the Galaxy because
Oh,
at
for
least
sure.
at least
Yeah.
they got the costumes right,
Yeah.
right? You see
Yeah. They were
Batman and Robin.
exaggerated and bold, and this
I mean,
thick.
Captain. You look at Captain Marvel, and you look at Batman and Robin, and the Shadow. I mean, they all looked exactly like how they were supposed to be drawn. They were drawn,
Iron
and
Man
or
in his
described.
original gear. Yeah, that big clunky
Oh,
robot looking dude. Yeah.
right, the one he had in the cave. Yeah, yeah, the
Hmm.
yellow. The first one was yellow.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's I, yeah, they at least they. Uh, Off topic real quick. I
Yeah.
love that Robert Downey Jr. did such a great job with Iron Man. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am that they went back to cast him as Doctor Doom. I am so
Oh,
disappointed with that. I just like all that goodwill you did, and you can't get out of your own way. You gotta go back, and same on the Russo brothers for doing it too. It's like you're
yeah.
bringing them back. You're bringing
You
them. You're
got to
bringing the
work
same.
though.
Huh?
You gotta work, you know.
Hey, Krubby, how are you, sir? He's saying hello. Um, Klor is a producer and an actor and a writer.
And
He's
direct,
based
yeah.
in and he's based in Arizona. And we're talking about his film. Is the trilogy called? Is there a name for the trilogy? Is it just the Space Vixen trilogy right now?
It's yeah, the Space Vixen trilogy, because it goes
Okay.
Invasion of the Space Vixen, and then Vixen Comforts. I got the shirt on here. So Vixen Comforts Vixen. So that's the I could have just brought that down. Ah, look at that.
Nice.
Okay. Movie actor,
Nice.
not the movie camera. Okay.
I tell you what. I tell you what. If you take your movie and make DVDs out of that or Blu-rays, I tell you what, that T-shirt will sell very well too if you take it to a convention.
Yeah, we're gonna just have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what gets in the way of a good team sometimes, getting too serious about the creation that you're making. It's like,
I just love it. I just love that this is just exciting to me because it's exciting because it's what I grew up with,
mhm,
and then I'm talking to Win Scott Eckert, and I was telling you about he's got he's basically he knew Philip Jose Farmer and worked with him, and Philip Jose Farmer did the Doc Savage story, the biography,
mhm,
and then Win has come in and expanded what was called the Wold universe.
mm.
Do you know what the Wold? Do you know what Wold universe is?
WALD, that,
WOLD, yes.
yeah.
Wold Newton universe. So basically, it's all those characters from that time period: Doc Savage, Sherlock Holmes, the Green Hornet, the Lone Ranger, Tarzan. They all intercross with each other. They're all in the same
Oh, wow.
universe. It's so much. It's so freaking cool.
So Ron Meyer Myers is a science fiction fantasy writer, and he wrote Silverlock, which is kind of a similar thing, but it's all the fables of history live on this island after they disappear from your consciousness. Kind of a
Really.
weird concept.
So I get a chance to talk to him, and we're gonna be talking a lot about Doc Savage because
That's awesome.
for this to come, to talk about this movie is exciting as hell because I haven't seen anybody do this yet since I've been doing this interview show. No one's come up there and says, "Yeah, I'm going to make a homage to the old pulp books from the 30s and 40s." No
Yeah.
one does that. I just it's way time. Um,
Mm. Thank you.
now, have you shown the movie yet to anybody? I want to know if anybody has seen the movie and has gotten excited about it like I am, and
Yeah.
has offered to help you, like provide more, maybe you need a little bit more money or
Mhm.
locations or whatever costuming. Have you shown this to anybody that says, "Hey, man, I want to be a part of this"?
No, not yet. We're still doing festivals and stuff. We've won some, sci-fi, best camera work, best black and white, kind of stuff. We haven't really won any comedy awards or anything, but this movie
I
makes
don't
me
think you
laugh.
will.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll win for comedy? I mean, if people watch your film for what it is,
Yeah.
like I don't. I mean, there might be some comedy elements to it, but I'm hoping they see it like we're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny, but it's also it's a love letter to
The past.
pulp
Yeah.
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 Um,
Yeah.
let's see, and Krubby says, "Wow, nice to meet a co-writer." Yes, Krubby is a writer too, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Excellent.
yes. Okay, so how did the shooting go at first? Did I mean, that's one good thing about the budget is you used your phone, which means you didn't have to buy film.
Right.
Um, so I mean, if you didn't like a shot, just delete and
Good.
redo it again.
Yeah.
It,
Go
it, it
stand in front of that sheet again.
you're right. Um, how long did it take you to actually shoot the first segment?
The first segment, was in two parts. The middle we shot first. That took 2 days, and we edited it, turned it in. It was like 4 minutes long, 4 minutes, 18 seconds long. And then I didn't like it. I was embarrassed by it because it wasn't my story. It wasn't what I had meant to accomplish. So there was more to do. So then the second installment of the first part took 4 days, and we shot all the green screen stuff. We wrote all that stuff out, all the actions, all of the eyeline stuff is so important when you're doing green screen because it has to match what you've already shot as far as their environment, right? So you've got to plug somebody into an environment that doesn't exist, and then that person has to exist in an environment that isn't real. So it's those two things are kind of fun, So
I've seen actors, I've seen actors, do the green screen, and they like hang tennis balls down there, and they say that's who you're acting against. Like I think I saw that in the Marvel thing, where they showed all the people, all the characters, and you see them, they're acting against the green screen, and then there's tennis balls everywhere, and they go there. Yeah,
we would tape coffee filters to the wall. It's for eye lines, and they draw a little smiley face on them, so you're not just staring at a coffee filter. So
makes you wonder how they did it back then. Even though I mean, all practical back then,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, so you both wrote it.
Yeah.
It's really impressive considering that Kimber probably didn't know anything about the 30s or 40s magazines.
No, but she knew a lot about style, right? She knew about the presentation and what the Vixen was, so that made the story evolve right away. So it was just kind of natural, just kind of, it sounds weird, but it just kind of fell together, like it was meant to happen. So it was easy.
Did you know, because we're talking about this, did you know that they're because I saw the show in the 70s. I'm sure you probably saw a few episodes too. But when they did the Buck Rogers series with Gil Gerard.
Oh yeah.
I read that they want to do a up-to-date Buck Rogers.
I say leave it the way it was. It was just enough cheese on it,
Oh my gosh! Everybody was chasing after Colonel Deering, and my heart belonged to Ardalia.
I like the little robot.
Oh yeah, Mr. Dr. Theophilus and Wiki. Yeah. I had a mad crush on Pamela Hensley. She was the first Vixen that I had a crush on. It's like
not to be trifled with.
She's evil, but boy, she makes evil look good.
Maybe today, Satan. I don't know.
Yeah. God, that they had oh gosh, what's his face? Henry Silva was her right-hand man, and that was awesome too.
I always like their battle gear because the shoulders would go way out, like you could hide stuff underneath. It was like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They did an episode where this is so cool too. They did an episode where it was called the Fighting 69th. And this disease had come in and wiped out most of all the Earth's pilots with an illness, so that they had to go back and get all the old timers. And guess who was one of them? Buster Crab. Buster Crab.
Oh no way!
Yeah. They brought him.
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
that was so cool. Yeah, he did the pulp. He did the pulp syrup. Oh, that was so cool, man.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
No. I mean, when I saw this poster and I saw this poster and I saw the costume for it, that's what I mean, man. I got really jacked. Was. You're probably sitting there going like, you're hearing me say, I'm really looking forward to talking with you. Yeah, okay. He's done this so many. No, you don't understand. I'm like fanboy right now. This is fanboy mode because
That's awesome.
This is us talking about us. When you and I were younger,
Yeah.
this is what we cut our teeth on.
And
Most, yep, this is it.
for
Everybody else
me,
is cutting their teeth on modern stuff, and we cut our teeth on this.
for me, it was some of the most comfortable times I think in my life was 11 years old, 10 years old, watching the Saturday morning sci-fi movie, eating like popcorn that was still in a big, supermarket bag that we had at the drive-in last night or whatever, right? But those were
Right.
so cool. Watching like the Godzilla movies and Mothra and Ghidra and then Ultraman and stuff like
Oh,
that.
Johnny
J-
Rock,
Johnny Sacco and his small
Johnny,
robot.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then oh my gosh, this is just so. That's what I mean when I'm hearing this, and then Kimber was like, "Okay, I want to jump in on this too."
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So
Now,
for
did
the
you show
third
her?
installment, we've got Colonel Dark Lightly, who is the man who dropped the bomb that killed all the people. He actually
Okay,
survived, but he was banished to Earth, right? So
okay,
he comes and makes an appearance in the third installment. So yeah, got to have a bad guy, right? Can't just be happy
right.
all the time.
Now, are you planning to expand the cast for the third part? I mean, it sounds
Yeah,
like okay, yeah. So where are
yeah.
you gonna find the cat? Where are you gonna find your? How do you find how for your films like Housebroken? Where do you find your crew and cast at?
Well,
Um,
John Kestner shot and directed that, so that was his baby. We were just fortunate enough to be part of that, so that was fun. Me and Kimber have worked together for probably about 20 years. So it's like, can we do it? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's do it and find out what happens. Because all we could do is talk about the experience later anyway. So.
did you talk to any of your peers about this? I mean, some of your other your other directors around
Yeah,
your community.
they're like, you're insane. That is no way to make a movie. I'm like, that's the way I'm gonna do it. You know, it's
Really?
fun.
Th-
They thought it was
th-
crazy. They're like,
what
okay,
what
first
did
of
they
all,
think
you don't
after you
have a
show?
script, Yeah.
Right.
We, but I'm also an improv actor, and I've done improv for about 35 years with the local troupe. And I know when you watch the film, you're familiar with improv, you'll see the beats in the scenes, you'll see the games that we're playing to manifest the script and how we tie it all together using some techniques in improv. So,
I guess one of the most important things we touched on lightly, but I'll hit it again. But are
mhm.
you planning to do a physical release? I know it'll probably be very limited, but are you planning to make maybe a couple hundred copies and see where you go with it?
Yeah, just give Kimber your contact information. We'll definitely send you whatever you need.
Oh, yeah, I want to be let me see. Yeah, because I'd love to have an avenue where people could go and buy the Space Vixen, Invasion of the Space Vixen. I'd like for them to get a chance to get it, like to watch it in physical.
Mhm.
'Cause a lot of the people that come here watch our show, they're physical media collectors.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, they want that in their hands. That's what I mean. I don't know. I'm not sure if I wonder if making a DVD is cheaper today than it was last year.
Or just sending links.
Yeah, you could send
There's all
links.
kind of avenues, I imagine.
I think I would love to see a demand for it though. I love to see you
Yeah.
be able to go to a convention. Um, well, so you're doing the festival though, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is this the first movie you've taken to festivals? And
Um,
what's your opinion about film festivals, pros and cons?
let's go with pros. Film festivals are, oh, all right, let's just be real. getting any film shown in front of an audience is next to impossible unless you've got a very large budget, right? So the way around that is independent film. People have different budgets for independent film. But our film, we had a smaller budget, but we went against big budget films in different festivals and we won. And I think we won because of our story, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
do
think
too.
I think if you've got a story to tell and it's not the same old story that you've already heard, but there's elements of it you're familiar with, you can go on the ride, you know. So so that's one of the good things is you get it seen by people and you never know who's going to go to those festivals and see it. Could be anyone. Um, and then some of the downside, connecting with people is another upside there. Meeting new people, like-minded people, creative folks. It's so much knowing that you're not the only one that has weird thoughts about film and what's cool and what's not needed. You have these big ideas and no money at all. So you want to make it happen. Film festivals is one way to get those things seen. You learn about filmmaking, and to me, the only way to learn about film is to make film. You can go to film school and learn all about that, but then I think that's kind of geared toward the corporate, you know, mode of making film. I just have a vision in my head. Maybe it's more of an art piece than a there's installments of the story or the pieces of work. It's fun.
Um, how did you get your start in film? What was how I mean, I should touch upon that. Um,
Mhm.
how did you get your start? Have you always been based in Arizona?
Yeah, mostly high school stuff like I did acting. That was fun. But in professional acting and stuff I started out doing stand up, um, comedy, doing writing comedy, and then getting involved with improv and improvisational troops. I have this kind of a theory of life is if you have goals, do one thing every day for an hour toward that goal. And then if you do that every day, you're going to accomplish something. May not be exactly what you wanted or what you set out for, but you'll be a lot further down the road, you know. So
What was it? What was your first paying gig as an actor?
as an actor, see, 49th Line, we shot that in Colorado, and that was probably my first feature film. Yeah, it was my first feature film. It was all short films before that, and that was with Drew O'Kane and Kimber Leigh. We were both in that film, and I think we've been friends ever since. The auditions were held at a bar in outside of Phoenix, and they had an open casting call, and that's where I met Kimber. She was back in the bar. The film required somebody to scream real loud, and so she knocked that out of the park. People in the bar were like, "What the?" It was pretty piercing. But yeah, she's cool, and we hung out and started doing stuff, and we ended up going to Colorado, shot 49th Line. It was really nice. It was all shot on site. Um, there wasn't any green screen in that. It was all real and
Right.
expensive. But I hung out and learned as much as I could, and take notes. And if you're interested in doing something, it tracks
I
that
think I,
direction.
I definitely think that mentioned this many times here, but man, I think the one thing that has changed filmmaking probably the most of anything when talking to anybody,
Mhm.
the one thing they say has been the game changer is digital camera.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That has been the true game changer. I mean, ever since now anybody can make a movie. Um,
This is
I
what I
remember
shot
listening to
everything on. This is what I shot everything on. This is my camera, my wallet. my phone.
Li-
You know.
Listening, I was listening to Robert Rodriguez on his commentary for Once Upon a Time in America. I think it's what it was, or Down in Mexico, or the one with Johnny Depp. But he was talking about how he got the first, got the digital camera, and how it was just amazing because he could just go ahead and shoot, and then go ahead if something didn't work out, he could just wipe it off and come back there. And he says, of course, the batteries were back then, the batteries were taking up a lot of juice. Yes, but not nearly anything like it when you're shooting on film,
Studio, yeah.
Oh my God, it's absolutely insane. It's funny. It's really funny. Here's what really cracks me up about that. And we're talking about budgets. So back in the 70s or 80s, when they're still using film, you would hear it's really weird too. If you go back to a lot of the movies that were made during the 70s and early 80s, maybe mid 80s or what have you, before the blockbuster started taking over, if you go back there and you read about those movies, you always see how the movies back then were done so much more cheaper.
Oh yeah.
And you sit there and go like, wow, how? I mean, you got a movie
Roger
like today.
Corman, yeah.
Here you go. Here you go. You got the Russo brothers doing $250 million Marvel movie, and you're sitting there going like, how the hell are you going to really try to stand there and tell me it's going to cost you $250 million when you can go over there to Richard Donner's Superman, which was done practically on film for like a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
You're shooting on digital. There's no cost for you other than buying the one piece of equipment, to get it, to shoot it. You need a what they call a red camera. And
red.
Yeah. So you buy one camera, a digital camera. The batteries today are much more advanced than they were back when they first started.
Yeah.
Yet all of a sudden, it's like the technology that is needed to make movies easier to shoot. How the hell does it cost it for so much more to make? It costs more money now to make a movie today, without talking about any casting. It's supposed to be so much more. It's supposed to be so much more money today. But back in the day, in the 70s, when Jaws came out and what have you, holy shit! They had, you know how much film they would go through in a movie, and then they have to edit it. I mean,
I've been on set. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I truly don't understand. It's like it's like it's supposed to be, filmmaking is supposed to be easier today. It's supposed to be with all the technology advances and what have you. Yet it seems like it's taken steps backwards.
It's almost like they're washing money.
Yeah. I just feel like I want to go to anybody, shooting. I think probably the only movie that I probably believed cost that much was because they shot 3 movies at once for $200 million. I still would like to see the receipt, but the one movie I can think of was the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. They shot 3 movies at one time for $200 million. I might believe that, but when I see something like Superman, or any of these other movies with, 250, I think, are you announcing the price like that? Are you sitting there saying, I think they do it just for bragging purposes?
Well, it's like when somebody argues about their kid's boyfriend, right? It's like, well, are you trying to want me to shame my daughter or hate the boyfriend? You know what I mean? It's like, I say make as much money as humanly possible and do whatever you can to do it. I guess they're comfortable with that. It's ridiculous because the movie, it doesn't show 250, I don't know. I don't know how you'd spend that much money.
I don't, yeah. I mean, could you imagine walking into there and say, I want to see an itemized list of all your expenses. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see that. I want to see where you spent, from day one to the last day. I want to see where you spent $250 million. And then on top of that, say you have to spend another 20 or 30 on advertisement.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, who does that anymore? Who does print and radio anymore? You don't need to. The internet does it for you for free.
Yeah.
Like someone had commented. I read somebody had commented that they'd only seen like 2 ads for Avatar. Yeah, that's about right. I believe that. But why do you need to advertise it? If you say Avatar, everybody and their grandmother knows about it. You don't need to go out there and spend $30 million. Here's the new Avatar movie. No, people are already talking about it.
That's like what happened to the Predator series. That just made me sad. And then people are like, "Oh no, the new Predator's great." I'm like,
Are you okay? So when you watch can you think are you a big horror fan by chance?
Yeah, it's the first movie I ever made was a horror film. It was Bloody Mother Truckers. Yeah.
So do you believe it's possible to make a scary horror film and have it rated PG-13?
Yeah, I think you could. I think Alfred Hitchcock could. I think he did.
Yeah.
That is be creative and smart. Your mind will create more. Yeah, your mind will create more imagery than you can imagine. It's like 2 people can watch the same movie and see it differently because they really saw it differently. The things that weren't shown, that their mind filled it in differently. They're like, "Oh, you saw that one part, but it's never in the movie."
Because I'm one of those that I don't mind watching PG-13, and there's been some really good ones. I mean, you think of M. Night Shyamalan, his Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense. He's done PG-13 and he's been very effective at it.
Yeah.
There's been some other films out there. I personally feel if you really want to get down to the near, if you really want to scare somebody, you can hit them with jump scares and spook them that way. But
or
if you
just
want to
show them the bill that the plumber left. That'll scare them.
Hell yeah, no doubt about
what college is going to cost. Here you go.
Yeah. Here, look at that. Then do your lines.
Yeah.
I feel PG-13 can be done for jump scares, but if you really want to get underneath someone's skin, I do think you have to go darker. Yeah, you have to do it.
Personal loss is usually one thing that sparks a dramatic horror film. Here's the thing of horror films. If you don't care about the character, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just doesn't matter. That's the investment,
Yeah, we talk about a lot of good horror films and some of the characters that are in it, and there's a lot of people that you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, if they're just fodder, we don't care. It's like there's no risk. It's like, here comes the first person walking down the alleyway, and she gets killed or he gets killed. Okay, well, all you've done is so there's a creature out there. Okay, but as far as the human element goes, you haven't touched me.
Right.
I think that's what made. I mean, God, I feel like I'm the only one here in my little community that says this, but everybody talks about Scream and everybody says, it was supposed to be a horror comedy. It was supposed to be a dark comedy. It was supposed to be. But you go back and you watch that first scene with Drew Barrymore, and I'm sorry,
not very funny.
If you walked in there expecting a dark comedy, yeah, that checked out along with Drew Barrymore's character, because that movie it changed the whole landscape of the movie. That movie no longer was, oh, okay, I'm getting a little woozy here. You know what? You're not thinking about that. You're thinking of, you could be in the whole movie in the third act I'm getting a little woozy here, and but you're not thinking about that. You're still
Yeah.
thinking about that girl who got gutted in front of her parents.
In the first
That's what
15
that's
seconds. Yeah.
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 That's what takes. That's what you remember more. I mean, if you ask anybody, if they're truly honest with you, if you ask anybody like,
Traumatized. Yeah.
right, if you ask anybody who really was true, and you sit there and say, "What's the one thing you remember first about Scream?" They're gonna
That's
sit there and say Drew Barrymore.
it's like the film that scared me the most was The Exorcist,
Yes.
because they spent time developing that character, the mother, their relationship, and then the weird stuff started to happen. You got to see her relationship with church. You got to see her relation, a lot of background information. It was kind of slow moving, but you started picking up on it. Like it was well shot. You're like, okay. And then terrifying. And you cared. And it was weird.
Yes.
You were horrified. And I probably should have been older than 9 when I watched it, but
uh, I agree with you. I watched it. I watched it not that long ago,
yeah.
and it still holds up for me.
Yeah.
I was really impressed the way they shot it because it comes across almost like a documentary style.
Exactly. Yeah. The opening scenes, like they're in Washington, yeah. You're like,
And I
ah,
think for some reason, I think that's what made it. It's like the Blair Witch Project. That's what made it so effective was people thought it was real.
caught you off
People really
guard.
thought
Yeah.
right. And when you watch
Yeah.
The Exorcist and you're sitting there and especially all the medical aspect of it, you feel like you're watching a documentary like this really happened.
Yeah.
And
And they showed needles, and who likes that? I don't know. It was like,
yeah.
ugh.
Uh, got a couple of minutes here, but I'll go with this. I'll go with a couple of fun ones for you.
Okay.
Um, what are your what have you how many movies have you seen this year, and which 3 would you rank as your 3 favorite that you've seen
That I've seen this year or totally?
in 2025?
Okay, 2025.
And
I really haven't seen any.
you can include your you can include Space Vixen.
Okay, so it'd be Space Vixen. That's a good one. I like that. Big fan of that one. The second film would probably be Vixen Comforts Vixen. That's my second favorite film. And my third, of course, is the final film of it. It's Vixen Rules. So
Mm.
those are my yeah, because I made those 3. I've seen them, so they do count. Thank you. Yeah.
Yep, yep. When we go off camera here, I'm going to tell you who the person I'm gonna send this to.
Okay.
Like I said, I know there's 2 sides of this person. I only know the public side. I don't know the other side. Um, so I think it would be fun to send this to her, and because she seems like she's just a really fun person to talk to.
Well,
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and she loves cats, and she plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Didn't we all,
I keep
though? I mean,
yeah. I was like, are you gonna do another gaming night? I want to see this. Um, so the Vixen would be your first one. Second movie will be.
Vixen Comforts Vixen.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you can put the
Yeah.
whole trilogy as one, and then
Yeah.
you can give me 2 other. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to end this. We have hit our mark, and
All right.
I want to. Yeah, I hope you had fun, as much fun as
Oh,
I
it
did.
definitely is a blast, man.
This is our first show in almost 2 months, and it feels good to be back. And I'm so glad you came out and then hung out with us tonight and
Excellent. Yeah.
talk all things Space Vixen and pulp magazines, pulp books. Um, hopefully, we'll get more of that in the future. I
Yeah.
love it. I do. I think it's cool as hell. Um, there are plenty of movies out there for you guys to watch. Probably more easier to get the movies than the magazines, to be honest with you. A lot of the magazines are probably already all gone, or in collectors, collectors. But the movies are still out there. They still get published by the studios. You can pick up like a Captain Marvel or or Flash Gordon or what have you. You can also we'll put a link down below about how you can watch Klor and Kimber. Their whole well, it's only 2 parts right now, right? Because you're about ready to shoot the 3rd part. Okay.
Right.
So, when do you plan on shooting that?
Oh, it's already shot. I just got to edit it, and
Oh, okay.
that takes a bit of time. So
yes. After I know we didn't get a chance to talk too much about your other films, but we will, because I definitely want to talk a little bit of Housebroken. I thought that was a lot of fun too.
cool.
I'm going to say that for the next visit. And,
all right.
I want to thank everybody who came out there and supported us today in the chat. I appreciate it. Our first show back, so yeah, it's here in this middle of a winter, but we're back tomorrow. We'll be talking with Jill Holder tomorrow, and then on Saturday we have our very first professional athlete. Will be here on 8 Questions With. We're talking with pro wrestler James Fury. That will be at 9 p.m. on Saturday the 13th, and then on the 16th. Oh, I'm sorry. On the 16th, we're going to be talking with our friend Barb from Fear the Walking Heads, and then on the 18th, we will be talking with author and Win Scott Eckert. He'll be here, and we'll be talking more pulp. We'll be talking about Doc Savage and the Avenger, the Spider, Sherlock Holmes. Anybody from those old classic fictional characters. We'll be talking about that. And so yeah. All right. That is it for us. We will see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time. Chloe, stay right there for 1 second, and for everybody else, we're gonna say good night. Have a great rest of your evening. Peace. God, that's one thing that hasn't changed, is me ending the show. I still struggle with that. I cannot